Hi, my name is Jennifer. I am a group exercise instructor and physical therapist. Today's class is a Pilates class. You just need a mat, no other equipment required. I will show modifications for the exercises, so pick a level that's appropriate for good form. Don't do anything that hurts. I am not going to play music in the background, so you can choose to put on music wherever you're at, or you can choose just to do class without music today. So let's get started. Okay, today we're gonna start in standing. Shoes are always optional, so if you want shoes on, socks on, whatever is comfortable for you, you're gonna take it out into a plie. So take it out a little bit wide, toes towards the corners of the room. You're gonna start to engage that pelvic floor, so that hammock of muscles that lives in that pelvis, you're gonna close and lift up through that space. That will help pull in that transverse abdominal muscle. So think low tummy, deep belly muscle that compresses that belly back to your spine. So imagine like zipping up a super tight pair of pants while you're standing up top here. And then we're just gonna start dropping and lifting in and out of that plie. Go at your own pace, go at your own depth. Just trying to really sort of engage that core as you're moving through that motion. Getting your brain warmed up to multitasking with that core system. And we do have a big leg movement exercise that requires a little hamstring length. So we will spend a little time maybe on lengthening that hamstring today. Pause it down. I want you to take your arms out to 90 degrees, right at that shoulder height. And then I want you to windmill it. So you're gonna reach over and lengthen through one side of the body as you contract and squeeze through the other side. So if you're leaning towards one direction, this side of your body should be contracting and pulling you as the other side lengthens and controls your descent, keeping that core set nice and tight. Breathe. One more to each side. And pause it, center. Take the hands behind your head and you're gonna twist. I want you to rotate center, other side, center, and just keep going again at your own pace. Getting those obliques fired, keeping that core set. One more to each direction. And pause, center. Now, turn your toes forward. Soften your knees, come down into the squat with your flat back, and we're gonna get a little bit of flexion extension. So I want you to exhale, flex, tuck the chin, tuck the tailbone, and reverse that. Extend through the back, lift the heart, exhale, flex. Inhale, extend, and again, go back and forth a few times at a pace that feels comfortable for you. Contract your core. And one more time. Roll it all the way up. And then bring your feet in about shoulder width apart. And I want you to squat down. See if you're low enough that you can get your hands on the floor, okay? So you're here. Okay, so bend your knees enough that you can. If that's really not comfortable, you can support yourself on your shins, or again, on your thighs, or you can support yourself on a chair or your couch. And I want you to try to start straightening and bending through those knees. Straighten. Getting some hamstring length. Inhale and exhale. You can relax your core a little bit on this one. We're just going for some leg and hip mobility. Now, see if you can hold them straight. Inhale, lift the chest, flat back. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale, lift. Exhale, fold in half. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale and exhale. One more time. Exhale. And then just pedal it out. I want you to just kind of bend and straighten one knee and then the other. Feeling that shift in that stretch to that outer hip and butt. Getting those legs warm. And then pause and bend your knees. Hands on the floor, walking yourself out all the way down to a tabletop. From here, I want you to contract that belly away from the floor toward your spine. Kick that pelvic floor in and keep that spine really lengthened. Tuck your toes underneath you, and we're just gonna do a couple lifts here. So you're gonna lift and gently lower. Try to lift both knees, gently lower, lift both knees, gently lower, and again, keeping that core really pulled up tight. One more, and release. Now, we're gonna sit down all the way on our bums, and then come all the way down onto your back. From here, we're gonna go into the 100, which will be in an ab curl position. If at any point you have neck pain or your neck feels tired, in any ab curl position, you can put your head down on the floor and try the exercise in that spine neutral, okay? So, contract the pelvic floor, close and lift. Transverse abdominal, pull deep in towards that spine. You have 4 options for your legs. Everybody's upper body will be identical. If you know your level, start it, okay? You're gonna come up into an ab curl. That might mean your head, shoulders, maybe shoulder blades come off the floor at the highest. You're gonna nice and strong pump your hands towards the floor. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is not soft and fluffy, okay? It is very strong. You're getting your lats and some of those back posterior shoulder muscles kicked in. Level 1 is where you're at. Level 2, feet come up to knee level. Level 3, you're gonna straighten those knees, tighten those quads. And then level 4, lower the legs down. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Staccato breath. Finish a breath. And release and roll it down. All right, we're gonna put our hands behind our head and we're gonna be doing a heel beat with some external rotation at the hip. We're gonna start off with those legs right over those hips. So getting that belly compressed in, you're gonna pick those feet up and put them right over that pelvis and that hip area. You are gonna rotate outward. So roll your kneecap outward into that hip external rotation. And then your legs are going to cross, okay? So they're just gonna kind of crisscross here. And then as we do that, we're gonna keep everything really pressed back into the mat. So press your elbows back, get those, again, upper back, shoulder blade muscles to kick in. And start switching those legs. So beat, 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 beat. Keeping your breath strong, smooth. If you want to make this a little harder, you can come up into your curl. And take a little break. We're going to come back into that position for a second set. The option is to lower your legs towards the floor and lift them back up at the same time that you're doing your heel beats, okay? Your little crisscross with the legs. So shoulders back to start. Pick your feet up over those hips. Roll the kneecap outward so your heels are in and your toes are out. And then start crossing them. And again, you're gonna start to lower towards the floor. Your low back does not come up and your belly should not poof out. If you start lowering your legs and your belly goes and it poofs, gets bigger, domes, cones, whatever you want to call it, that is beyond what you can control and you went too far, okay? So that's really kind of the good indicator throughout class is if you can't control that abdominal wall and keep it compressed, you're picking something that's a little bit beyond your control, all right? So again, you can either leave the arms down or come into your curl. And if you're in your curl, you kind of have to look, you have like a visible line that you can see right to that belly. So that can help you determine how low can you go.
Does anybody else start singing that song when they say that? How low can you go? Keep that belly nice and tight, pelvic floor in. Control, control, control. Your legs should be fired strong, 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 strong. One more time. And release it down. Nice job. Okay. Now I'm gonna have that song stuck in my head for the rest of class. We're gonna do a single leg stretch, but we're gonna modify it a little bit. So we're gonna have 3 single leg stretches. And then you'll have a pause. So you do a stretch, 2, 3, then we're gonna do a straight leg raise with the opposite leg that's extended. So single leg stretch, you're gonna be in your ab curl, take a look at your belly, make sure it's down and in. Then level 1 is 1, 2, pause, see if you can pick up that other leg and put it down. Then 1, 2, 3, lift lower. Or just pause and then do 1, 2, 3, pause. Option 2, both feet are off of the ground, okay? So full single leg stretch. You're extending a leg outward with your foot at about your forehead level. The other leg that's coming in, hand goes on top of the knee and lightly down the outside of that ankle. You are not grabbing and pulling, okay? So it should look pretty similar without your arms as it does with, just a little bit of overpressure. So we've got 1, 2, 3, straight leg. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Finish one more on each side. And release it down. All right, adding a little bit of side bending. We're gonna take your hands back behind your head. We're gonna be in an ab curl, and our feet are gonna be in like a butterfly position with our knees. So bring your feet together, drop the knees out a little bit, and then see, you can keep your feet on the floor, but I want you to see if you can come up onto the balls of your feet, okay? So you can leave them flat, but if you come up and releve, your calves just have to work a little bit harder here. So level 1, feet option there, and then you're gonna come up into a curl, and you're gonna side bend, center, side bend, center. Option 2, feet are gonna come off of the floor, and again, my feet are pressed together, okay? So, like so. Yeah? All right. So, feet are pressed together. I'm actually rotated through those hips in that butterfly position. You're gonna side bend, side bend, side bend. You can add a little more power to it by trying to bring that elbow towards that knee as you slide, which I'm not sliding very well on my grippy mat. I have to fight it a little bit harder. And then we've got one more level. You can side bend, tap the floor. Side bend, tap the floor. Side bend, tap the floor. And again, that is totally optional. You could also do a single leg. That'll make it just a little bit easier. Keep that core set. One more to each side. And release it down. Shake those hips out a little bit. All right, now we're gonna do rolling like a ball, which it's It's kind of one of the few Pilates that you actually have a little momentum, but you're trying to slow it down as much as you can. But we're going to modify it, and we're going to throw in a little bit of a boat pose and balance holds. So take a hold of a leg, roll yourself up into sitting. Sit up nice and tall, and then your hands are going to go by the sides of your ankles again, kind of like a single leg stretch. From here, you have the option of making yourself into a tiny little ball. So the smaller you are tucked in, the harder it is. The farther away your feet are from you, you have a bigger, longer lever system. So it's going to help you with your movement coming back up. You're going to tuck yourself behind your tailbone. Get right on that kind of low sacrum area and see if you can balance yourself out. Belly to your spine, pelvic floor in. You're going to roll, so tuck back. Inhale as you roll. Exhale, catch yourself as you come up. If you overshoot it, you're probably using a little too much momentum, and this should feel like you have to fight it a little bit. And it's okay if you don't make it up every single time. But see if you can slow it down right at the end of balance. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Feels good on the back too. Inhale, exhale. One more. And then pause. You can balance here, or you can bring the feet up to knee level and try to let go of your legs. So here's where we're in our little boat pose. And if your feet are cramping, you can always roll them out and spread the toes. Stretch those out a little bit. They don't have to be on a hard point here all the time. If you want to take it one more notch, in level of difficulty, straighten those legs. Release it down, hug yourself up, roll that heart up and towards the ceiling and tailbone back. And we're gonna go over to our stomach. I'm gonna get a quick drink of water. So on the stomach, and we've got heel squeeze prone to start with there, followed by swimming. So bring it around onto your stomach. Your forehead is eventually going to be right on top of those hands, okay? But if you need to look for instructions, just watch. Legs are going to go about hip distance apart, maybe shoulder width towards the corners of your mat. You're going to bend your knees to 90 degrees, flex your feet, press your heels together. So again, you're toed out, okay? So actually rotate that. Then, once you've got your belly pulled away from the floor towards your back, your pelvic floor is engaged, and you are squeezing your buns. Okay, this is glute max isolation here. Press your heels together, and then you're gonna lift those knees off of the mat, and you're gonna try to come halfway down only. It's not a big movement, okay? We don't have a ton of hip extension. So don't try to overarch your back and try to kick those legs way high up into the air. It's not gonna happen, okay? And if your legs go really high in the air, you're probably not doing it right. So press the heels together, squeeze and lift, lower halfway. Exhale, push, inhale, halfway down. Exhale, push, inhale, halfway down. Exhale, push, inhale, halfway down. This should really be isolating through the glute, so you don't really want to feel this in your back. Your back is stabilized with your core to protect it from movement here. And then you're going to pulse it at the top, okay? So really press those heels together and pulse, 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 pulse. And release it down and just shake that out. Bring them in just a little bit closer, hip distance apart, arms overhead. We're going to go right into swimming from here. Arms and legs are going to be picked up off of the floor, and you're going to inhale 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4 as you do a flutter kick. Modification would be to just do the legs or just do the arms. You can also do opposite arm, opposite leg lifts. Okay, so hold it up and think length. Somebody has your wrists and ankles, they are pulling you apart. And then inhale 2, 3, 4, exhale 2, 3, 4. Staccato breath. Just like the 100. Except 4 breaths instead of 5. And exhale 2, 3, 4. Inhale 2, 3, 4. And make sure it's coming from the hip. It's not a knee flick. Okay, so it's not just your knees wiggling around. Your knees are locked out and it's still just hip. And release it down. And again, just kind of wiggle that out a little bit. Okay. All right, we're going to do one more extension while we're here. We have an opposite arm leg raise with a little bit of a hold and a reach back for some rotation. So from here, you're going to lift opposite arm and leg. Now you get to bend your knee. Try to touch your foot, bring it back forward, lengthen your limbs, lower down. You're going to lift the other side. You're going to try to reach back, reach forward and out, and down. If you want to make that a little bit harder, the first round I did, I actually kept my arm in contact with the floor, so I raised the other one, but this elbow, forearm, everything was in contact with the floor. If you want to make this a little harder, then you're going to come off of the floor, just press into that so that you don't have anything but your hand touching. So your arms will have to work a little harder. Your lats, your tris, your shoulders will just have to kick in that much more. So press up if you want, belly tight, pelvic floor in, lengthen, reach back, hamstring curl, and down. Press strong into the floor. You're pressing into the floor with your opposite foot. So your hand and the top of your foot are help giving you a little leverage here. Your neck is nice and long. Do not crank it back and be looking at the side wall. Pick a spot like right in front of your mat that you're looking at. And if you hamstring cramp, just shake it out. Sometimes this one will cause some cramps. One more on each side. And release down. And again, just shimmy that hip and pelvis out. Shake out that low back. We're going to come into side lying. And here's where we're going to need some of that hamstring lengthening. So bring yourself around. And if you feel like those hamstrings tightened up a little bit after doing some of that extension, you can quick stretch that back out a little bit. I did a little cardio before class today, so I stretched, but now I'm starting to kind of stiffen up a little bit. I'm just going to stretch that out just a couple seconds on each side, walking myself forward towards that foot. And again, if you need a little more stretch, you can pause the video and stretch and then restart it. Because what we've got is we've got développés and battements. So, fancy, fun ballet words here. This is where you can see some of that ballet influence into Pilates. So you're going to come down. There's a couple different options depending on your level of stability here. You can come all the way down to the floor. Extend the legs out nice and long. Belly back, pelvic floor in. You can use flat hand into the floor to help stabilize you. You can fingertip it. If you want to bring yourself up and you have the flexibility through the trunk and the hip, if you were a dancer, you can bring it all the way up here onto the elbow, okay? If you're not hanging on at all, super difficult. You can also do fingertips or palm into the floor if you can, okay? I'm going to be on down here based off of what I feel like I can stabilize today. So listen to your body, yeah? All right, you are going to turn your top leg so that you're rotated out. So again, that heel together, extra rotation at the hip, kneecap kind of starts to point up towards the ceiling. The développés, you are going to develop, okay? That's basically the word. You're going to develop that up the leg, pulling in through the hip and extending that quad. So the knee extends, not the quad. The quad causes that. Flex your foot and then squeeze down against imaginary resistance. Like squeeze your buns like so super hard here. Okay, then you do it again. So it's not quite that slow. So we're dragging up, extend, squeeze. Okay, belly tight. Pull it, extend, squeeze. Here's 3. Here's 4. Breathe. 5, 6, 7. Do not worry about how high that leg gets. 8, 9, one more, and 10. Now, our butt mats are big kick, boom, okay? You're gonna point on the way up, and again, flex and control it on the way down. Then you're gonna point and kick, flex on the way down. Still in this little bit of that extra rotation in that hip, okay? So make sure you're re-engaged through the core, and here we go. Here's 1, pull, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, one more time, 10. Very well done, and relax. Those can be really hard. So flip them around. We got to do the other side. And again, pick which option you want for the upper body and how much stability you want with the hand into the floor. Legs out extended. Get that core set. Starting with rotating that hip outward, okay? So roll that kneecap upward, heels together, tops of the feet facing away from each other. Developing, développé, up, extend, just kind of ease into the first one. See what that hip mobility feels like today. Okay, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. Squeeze your buns, rock hard on the way down. 4, 5, 6, 7, core tight. 8, 9, and 10. Here we go. Big kicks. Point on the way up, flex and control it on the way down. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, a little tighter on this side, and 10. And then release. All right. Again, you should have felt your glutes because you were really squeezing super hard as you were pulling that leg down against that imaginary resistance. We're going to do side bend with a twist. So you're going to come up into the side sit position. Get a little bit more rotation component today. You're going to lift into a side plank. You're going to end up rotating and threading that arm through, opening back up and lowering down. So modifications, full out. Let's go there and then I'll modify down from there. Okay, so if you want to start and you're just going to get extra reps in, that's fine. Count if you're already starting, so you do the same amount on the other side. But legs will be extended out away from you a little bit. You press up into your side plank, rotate through, open back up, and lower down. I can come from my forearm, do the same thing with the straight legs, or you can come from your knees. So you can lift from your knees, rotate through, and same thing with straight legs, knees, knees bent, arms straight, up and rotate through. So if you're modified, you're here, okay? All right, some days, brain farts. Okay, here we go. Pressing up, shoulders over that wrist and hand. Reach through, open up, control your lower. If you start with your hand underneath you, you're gonna go up and over your shoulder, so make sure it's a little bit farther out, because as you press up to it, you'll be perfect then. 2, and lower. Press 3, belly back. Press 4, pelvic floor in. 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, last one, 10, and down, and switch it around, other side. So straight leg or bent knee, either hand straight or on the forearms. Those are all your options. Won't go through them again. All right, belly back, pelvic floor in. You ready? Hand a little farther out than the shoulder. So press up and over to it. Rotate and down. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. And you're done with that one. All right, transition to your back. We're gonna do shoulder bridge. Get one more drink. You got 2 more, and then you're done. Shoulder bridge. Hands are strong into the floor, shoulders back, so we're gonna get our glute max just a little bit more, one more time today. Pelvic floor in, legs about hip distance apart, feet are flat. You're gonna press up into your bridge, then from here, okay? And don't overextend again with your back. You go up to where your hips are neutral and you're squeezing your bun. It's not about overextending the back. You're gonna pick up one leg, keep your pelvis level. You're gonna flex your foot, pull down 1, point, flex 2, point, flex 3, point, and put it down. My butt did not move. So you're trying not to drop it or rotate those hips. If you can't pick up that leg, maybe just start shifting your weight onto one side and see if you can start to pick up a foot a little bit, okay? And then shift it to the other side and see if you can start to pick it up. Otherwise, just pause. You can do singles instead of these as well. So you can just do your bridges. Holding up, one leg extended, flex, quad is tight, press 2, point, 3, point, and down. Other leg. And down. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Inhale. Keep your butt up. Pelvic floor in, transverse flat to your spine. Hold your bridge. Give that core system a little recheck. Where is it at? And lower down. Pull your knees into your chest. Just rock that out. Last exercise, one more. So we're gonna take that side bending we did earlier and make it a little bigger. So roll it on up. And you're gonna come into kneeling. If this is not comfortable and you would rather go to your back and do what we did earlier with our feet off the ground and our butterfly and our side bend, totally fine. You can also stand all the way up and just keep yourself either here, center, and side bend. You can lunge a little bit and side bend if you want. Otherwise, you're going to be here in kneeling. So take a leg, prop it out, okay? Belly back. Pelvic floor has to fight gravity in this position. Hands back behind your head. We are going to lean away from the straight leg and pull over to that side. So at the beginning, those warm-ups we did with that little windmill arm back and forth, this side is lengthening and lowering you. And then I want you to squeeze, squish, 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 squish through that rib cage, okay? Like an accordion. Lengthen and lower. Pull it, squeeze, 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 squeeze. You are sliding on an imaginary wall. Do not come forward off of that wall. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We got 5 more. I know 10 was the magic number today, but not with this one. 12, 13, 14, 15. Now hold it over. Hold. Either stay here or extend the arms. And bring it up, lower down, another side. That's it. This is it right here. And then we get to stretch. Belly back, pelvic floor up. Get those hands back up behind that head and lean away. Then pull down through that side. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze. 2, 3, slow and controlled. 4, 5, 6, 7. Has to be an active contraction here. Squeeze, 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 squeeze. There was 9. Here's 10. 11, 13, 14, last one. Now hold it over there. See if you can hold it. Stability, arm option reach. Don't try to twist towards the floor. Keep yourself back into that imaginary wall. Bring it up and relax down. A little bit of extra shoulder work there too, yeah? Okay, let's stretch. Come down on your stomachs. Come up onto the forearms, pull that heart through. If that's enough stretch, you're gonna stay there. If you want a little bit more through the belly and the low back, press up and relax through that back. Roll it down, reach back for a foot, stretching out that quad. If that's uncomfortable for your knee, you can do some range of motion with that, or if there's a different quad stretch position that you like. Switch it out. And release that. And then I want you to press yourself back to hands and knees. Run through just a couple of those flexion extensions. And then we're going to do some side bending to kind of open up that rib cage. So bring your feet together, knees towards the sides of the mat, hands a little bit further forward, and I want you to drop your buns back, drop your chest down into that child's pose. And then option to walk it to the side. So walk it to one side and really open up through the side of that body, open up through that rib cage. Slow, deep breaths. Other side, walk it over. And bring it center. I'm going to just roll myself around right onto my back. Come on down. Cross the leg over on the other. So ankle on the other thigh. Pull that in towards that chest. You can either grab through, you can grab the top, you can cradle it, whatever's comfortable for you in this figure 4 kind of modified pigeon stretch. You can always roll out the ankle. You can also leave that foot down if you want. Okay. If you really want to intensify this, you can slide that lower leg out and down. It's going to create a little bit more tension on that stretch here. So up to you. And switch that out. Stretch, pull that in. Get a feel for that side. And then again, you can always leave a foot down or start to extend that out. And release that. Let the knees roll to the side. Open up through the chest. Keep your shoulders back into the floor. You can always look away from your legs. See if you can use this top hand to press yourself into some more rotation. If you want to add a little stretch onto the outer butt and hip there, I'm going to straighten this top leg and tuck the bottom one out of the way. And switch that other side. Let the knees roll over first. Keep the shoulder back. Again, you can use this top hand to press that leg down and press yourself into some more rotation. You can straighten out that top leg and grab that foot and get the bottom leg out of the way. And release that in. Tuck it back center. Put your feet down. Put your feet to the edges of your mat. And I want you to just drop one knee in at a time. Just kind of windshield wiper out those legs into that internal rotation of that hip. Get some of that extra rotation stretch because we did a lot in a turned out position today too. So if you'd rather hold a stretch here, you can keep windshield wipering it, but I'm going to tuck my foot on the other knee and just give that a little pull down. Okay, so now we're going to stretch those external rotators because we're taking our hip into internal rotation here. Other side, and again, foot is towards the edge of the mat. And then I'm going to let that knee drop in, and I'm just going to give it a little hook with the other leg to help pull that down and stretch that out. Release that center. Reach through the arms and legs. Just get a good realignment through that pelvis and back. Reach through those limbs, take a deep breath. Exhale. I know it's not yoga, but you can stay there and breathe for a while if you would like. If you are all done and moving on with your day, thank you so much for joining me. And if you have questions, you can always comment and message. But stay safe, stay healthy, and have a great rest of your day.